Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to build a wooden version of Joshua Bardwell's ultimate smoke stopper. I'm not going to cover the electronics because Bardwell covers that in his video, but I am going to cover building the wooden case and some troubleshooting for a problem I had with the electronics.
Okay, the first thing I did was lay out the components to determine the size of the smoke stopper box. Then I grabbed some scrap 3/8 inch plywood and started calculating measurements. The edges of the plywood are often rough and don't look very nice, so I added some masking tape and trimmed the edge. After that, I drew out where I would have to cut the wood, and again added masking tape to reduce the damage to the edges. Then I drew out the lines over the tape and started cutting out the pieces. Here are all the pieces required to build this smoke stopper. Actually, that one switch is wrong, and you will also need some wire, but more on that later. Next, you will want to drill 2 holes in one side of the box to allow for input and output wires. I used a 5/16 inch bit, and that seemed to work pretty well. Then I applied some wood glue and started tacking the pieces together. If I were to do this again, I would assemble the sides first and sand the top and bottom pieces to fit before nailing it together. This would make the whole thing fit better and would save time filling holes later. You should also consider clamping things down as you're working on them. I always forget to, but it really does make things easier and you should consider using them. After that, I filled all of the cracks with wood glue. If you decide to fit the side pieces together before the top and bottom pieces, there should be fewer holes to fill. Next, I glued the bulb holders into the box on pieces of wood. Do not do this. It will make your life way harder than it has to be, and I sadly did not realize this until I was editing this video. After that, we can drill the bulb holes in the top plate. Because I glued the bulb holders to the box, I had to measure exactly where the bulbs were and accurately drill the holes in these places. It will save you so much hassle to just drill the holes at a set point and glue the bulb holders in relation to that. It will also be more symmetrical as my holes are not perfectly symmetrical. I would recommend using a 1 1/4 inch hole saw with the center of the bit 1.5 inches from both sides of the corner. See how the holes are not perfectly symmetrical? If you drill the holes 1.5 inches from each edge and glue the bulb holder directly under that rather than in the corner, it will save time, effort, and look better in the end. Also, make sure you drill from the top of the box, as these type of hole saws tend to damage the back side of the plywood. Okay, now we can cut the hole for the switch. I used a drill to remove the corners and a Black & Decker matrix drill with the jigsaw attachment to cut out the bulk of it. A normal jigsaw will work just as well. After testing the fit of the switch and seeing that it did not fit, I went back and dug out more of the corners until the switch fit. And there's the tongue twister of the day. Then I went back and did the same thing for the other switch. I'm not going to provide measurements for the switches as it will vary on every switch. Just make sure that the switch is not too close to the edge. Next, I wood burned a picture of a plane onto my smoke stopper. This is an optional step, but I think it improves the overall look of the box. I used some graphite tracing paper to trace the outline of the plane onto the box. Then I traced over the lines with the wood burner. If you are a beginner to wood burning, you will want to practice and learn on another project or scrap wood and tape the tracing paper down to prevent it from moving. After that was done, I clamped down the box with the lid in position, and I drilled, countersunk, and inserted screws into the box. The next step is to sand the edges of the box. Be careful to only sand the corners and not the faces, as the actual layer of wood on plywood is generally really thin and can be sanded through fast, leaving only glue. Also, disclaimer, do not use your belt sander like this. I mean, it works, but it is extremely dangerous, so use at your own risk. After that, I added some stain and a clear coat to really bring out the details in the wood and the wood burning. Then I did all of the electrical work. I'm not going to show that here because the electronics in this are all wired up the same as in Joshua Bardwell's ultimate smoke stopper tutorial, which you should definitely check out. I am, however, going to talk about a little problem I had with the electronics and how I fixed it. In Bardwell's video, he said to use a 6-pole 3-position switch and a 3-pole 2-position switch. Now, the switches he linked below his video were not available in Canada, where I live, so I bought a pack of different 3-position switches and used a 2-position switch I had lying around. But when I built the box, only one mode would work. After brainstorming for a while and doing a ton of continuity testing, I realized that my 3-pole 2-position switch was on-off and not on-on like the one Bardwell recommended. Basically, an on-on switch connects one of the two outside poles to the center pole in one position, and the other outside pole to the inside pole on the other position. I'm not sure what the extra pole is for on the on-off switch, because it has 3 poles but only seems to use 2 of them. If you know what the extra pole is for, please let me know, because I am curious. But anyway, I solved the problem by just using another 6-pole 3-position switch in the place of the 2-position switch. Okay, I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe, and check out my other videos. Thanks for watching.